Guruji. Anantam Shukrana Guruji. Let's begin with the synopsis for last week. Last week we read chapter 15 and 16 of Rudra Samhita part 4. In this we read that Parvati created a boy from the dirt of her body and then blessed this boy with strength, valor and benediction. She told this boy that he was her son and then instructed this boy to guard the doorway of the apartment and not allow any intruder to come into the apartment as she went for her bath. Now, when Parvati went for the bath, this boy, who was ultimately called Ganesha, started guarding the apartment door. Now, just then, Lord Shiva came there. Lord Shiva tried to enter the apartment, but Ganesha did not let him enter, and this made Shiva furious. He wanted to enter and told this boy that he was Parvati's husband and he should let him enter, but Ganesha stayed put. He did not let Lord Shiva enter. Even the Ganas threatened him. Shiva's Ganas, they threatened him and intimidated him to go away from there, but Ganesha did not listen to them and continued with his duty. So he even beat up some of the Ganas, so they all went back to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva told the Ganas that they need to fight this Ganesha so as to establish order. Now, when the Ganas started preparing for this war, they went up to Ganesha, and Ganesha first rebuked them, taunted them, and then started a battle between Ganesha and the Ganas. He smashed the Ganas all over, and thousands of Ganas fled, went back to Lord Shiva. Seeing this, Narada urged Indra and all the other gods to come there, and all the gods requested Lord Shiva to command them. Then Lord Shiva told Brahma to go to this Ganesha and try to control Ganesha. But when Brahma, out of ignorance, went there thinking that he would be able to do that, he took a lot of sages with him. And Ganesha, when he saw Brahma, he plucked his beard and his mustache. So Ganesha asked for forgiveness, but just then Brahma asked for forgiveness, and Ganesha picked up his iron club, and seeing that, Brahma and all the sages, they ran away from there back to Lord Shiva. Well, Lord Shiva heard that. He was pretty angry, and he told Indra and all the other gods, as well as the Ganas who were led by Kartikeya, to kill this boy. So they all went there, and there was a furious battle between Ganesha and all the gods, and all the three worlds trembled because of that. But Ganesha was still overpowering all the gods, and the gods were not able to use their weapons effectively. When Parvati got to know what was happening, she created two Shaktis to assist Ganesha, and those Shaktis also helped Ganesha fighting these gods. The gods were again smothered, and they all went back to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva then took matters in his own hands, and he went to the place where Ganesha was to fight him. Then he consulted Lord Vishnu and told him that he should fight the boy first. So Lord Vishnu and Ganesha had a fierce battle that lasted a long time, and Vishnu realized that this boy could not be killed without deception, so he started using his tricks. And just then Shakti saw that Vishnu was using his tricks, so both the Shaktis gave their power to Ganesha and became submerged. So again there was a battle going on between Vishnu and Ganesha, and Vishnu hurled his iron club at Ganesha hurled his iron club at Vishnu, and Vishnu fell. So Shiva became angry, and he grabbed his trident, but Ganesha struck him on the hand, so the trident fell on the ground. Then Shiva took his bow pinaka. Again Ganesha struck him, so the bow pinaka also fell down. Then Ganesha took his staff and tried to strike Vishnu. Vishnu got struck and fell on the ground, and this irked Lord Shiva so much. He was so furious that he grabbed his trident and cut off Ganesha's head. And when the head was cut, everybody was still, gods and Ganas and sages, everyone was still there. And Narada went up to Parvati and told her what had happened. Now we will read further on what happened. Today we will be reading chapter 17, which is the resuscitation of Ganesha, and chapter 18, which is Ganesha is crowned the chief of Ganas. Today English reading will be done by Anil Uncle. And we also have Hindi reading. We will be having one chapter that will be read by Jyotsna Auntie, which is a summary of chapter 13 to 18 in English. So enjoy the reading today. Jai Guruji, Shukrana Guruji.
Jai Guruji. Thank you, Guruji, for the seva. Chapter 17. Narada said, O Brahma of great intellect, please narrate. When the entire news was heard, what did the great goddess Parvati do? I wish to hear all in fact. Brahma said, O foremost among sages, listen. I shall mention the story of the mother of the universe in the manner that it happened afterwards. When Ganesha was killed, the Ganas were very jubilant. They played on their marangas and patas. After cutting off the head of Ganesh, even as Shiva became sorry, Goddess Parvati became furious, O great sage. Oh, what shall I do? Where shall I go? Alas, great misery has befallen me. How can this misery, this great misery, be dispelled now? My son has been killed by all the gods and the Ganas. I shall destroy them all or create a deluge. Lamenting thus, the great goddess of all, the worlds angrily created in a moment hundreds and thousands of Shaktis. Shaktis who were thus created bowed to Parvati, the mother of the universe, and blazing brilliantly spoke, O mother, O pleased to command. O great sage, on hearing that, Parvati, the Sakshi of Shiva, and Prakti, the great Maya, spoke to them all in great fury. The goddess said, O Shaktis, O goddesses, now a great deluge shall be created by you at my bidding. You need not hesitate in this regard. O friends, devour forcibly all the sages, gods, yakas, rakshas belonging to us and others. Brahma said, on being commanded by her, the infuriated Shaktis got ready to destroy the gods and others. Just as the fires consumes dry grass, so also these Shaktis attempted to destroy it. Leaders of Ganas or Vishnu, Brahma or Shiva, Indra or Kubera, Skanda or the sun, Shaktis began to destroy them. Wherever one looked, Shaktis were present. The terrific, the humpback, the lame, the tall-headed, the immutable Shaktis took upon the gods with their hands and threw them in their own mouths. On seeing that Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, Indra, and other gods, Ganas, and sages began to doubt what the goddess Parvati would be doing, whether she would create an ultimately dissolution, their hopes and aspirations for life were quelled. They all gathered together and discussed, what shall be done now? Let us ponder. Discuss, thus they spoke to one another. Only when the goddess Parvati is pleased can there be relief, not otherwise, not even with our maximum efforts. Even Shiva, who is an expert in different sports and deluging us all, seems distressed like an ordinary man. When the hips of all the gods were broken, and Parvati in fierce fury and rage, none of them dare stand before her. Whether a person belonging to her or to others, whether a god, a demon, a gana, a guardian of the quarters of Yaksha, a Kinara, a sage Brahman, Vishnu, or even Lord Shiva himself, none could stand before Shiva. On seeing her dazzling brilliance burning all around, all of them were frightened and they stayed far away. In the meantime, O sage Narada, you of divine vision came here for the happiness of the gods and the Ganas. After bowing to me, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and discussing jointly, he said, let us think and act together. The gods then discussed with you of noble soul, how could our misery be quelled? They then said, as long as the goddess Parvati does not favor us here, there will be no happiness. No suspicion need be entertained at this matter. You and other sages went to Parvati in order to appease her anger. They then propitiated her. They bowed to her again and again. They eulogized her with many hymns. They tried to please her with devotion, and at the behest of the gods and the Ganas thus spoke. The celestial sages said, O mother of the universe, obedience to you, O Shiva, obedience to you, O Kandika, obedience to you, Kalyani. O mother, you are alone, are the primordial Shakti. You are the external cause of creation. You alone are sustaining power. You alone are the cause of dissolution. O goddess, be pleased. Spread peace. O goddess, the three worlds are agitated by your fury. Brahma said, The great goddess Parvati, thus utilized by you and other sages, glanced at them furiously. She did not say anything. Then the sages bowed to her lotus-like feet and spoke to her in a low voice with devotion, joining their palms in reverence. The sages said, O goddess, forgive, forgive. The final dissolution seems near at hand. Your Lord is standing here. O mother, you see him. What are we, the gods, Vishnu, Brahma, and others? We are only your subjects. We stand here with palms joined in reverence. O great goddess, our guilt shall be forgiven. We are agitated and distressed. O Parvati, give us peace. Brahma said. After saying this, the agitated and distressed sages stood in front of her with palms joined in reverence. On hearing their words, Parvati was pleased, and she replied to the sages with her mind full of compassion. The goddess said, If my son regains life, there may not be further annihilation. If you can arrange for him an honorable status and position among you as the chief presiding officer, there may be peace in the world. Otherwise, you will never be happy. Brahma said, Thus warned, you and other sages returned and imitated to all the gods everything in detail. On hearing that, Indra and other gods joined their palms in reverence and intimated to Shiva what had transpired there. On hearing what the gods said, Shiva spoke thus, It shall be done according so that there may be peace all over the worlds. You shall go to the north direction, and whatever person you meet at your first, cut off his head and fit it into his body. Brahma said, Then they carried out Shiva's behests and acted accordingly. They brought the headless body of Ganesha and washed it well. They paid homage to it and started towards the north. It was a single-tusked elephant that they met. They took the head and fitted it into the body. After joining it, the gods bowed to Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma and spoke. What has been ordered by you has been carried out by us. Let the task left incomplete be performed now. Then the prasadas shone happily. After hearing those words, they awaited eagerly what Shiva would say. Then Brahma, Vishnu, and other gods spoke after bowing to Lord Shiva, who is free from ill effects of the attributes. They said, Since we are all born out of your brilliant energy, let that energy come into it by the recitation of the Vedic mantras. Saying so, they jointly sprinkled the holy water invoked by the mantras on the body after remembering Shiva. Immediately after the contact of the holy water, the body was resurrected into life and joined with consciousness. As Shiva willed, the boy woke up from a sleep. He was handsome, extremely comely. He had the face of an elephant. He was red complexed. He was delighted with his face beaming. He was brilliant and had fine features. O great sage, on seeing the son of Parvati resurrected to life, they all rejoiced and their miseries came to an end. They showed him delightfully to the goddess. On seeing her restored to life, the goddess was greatly delighted. Chapter 18. Gana crowned as the chief of the Ganas. Ganesha. Narada said, O lords of subjects, when the son of Parvati was resuscitated and seen by the goddesses, what happened then? Please narrate to me now. Brahma said, O great sage, when the son of Parvati was resurrected and seen by the goddess, listen to what happened there. I shall now narrate the jubilation that ensued. O sage, the son of Parvati was resurrected. He was free from distress and perpetuation. Then he was crowned by the gods and the leaders of the Ganas. On seeing her son, Parvati was highly delighted. Taking him up with both her hands, and she embraced him joyously. She then lovingly gave him different clothes and ornaments. He was honored by the goddess, who bestowed all siddhis in him and touched him with her hand, and that removes all distress. After worshipping her son and kissing his face, she granted him boons with affection and said, You have great distress since your very birth. You are blessed and content now. You will receive worship before all gods. You will be free from distress. Vermilion is visible on your face now, hence you will be worshipped with vermilion by all men always. All achievements certainly occur to him who performs your worship with flowers, sandal paste, scents, auspicious food, offerings, narinja rites, betel leaves, charitable gifts, and obeisance. All kinds of obstacles will certainly perish. After saying this, she worshipped her good son with various articles once again. O Brahma, Then, with the graceful blessing of Parvati, instantly peace regained upon the gods and particularly on the Ganas. In the meantime, Indra and other gods eulogized and propitiated Shiva joyously and brought him devotedly near Parvati. After pleasing her, they placed the boy in her lap for happiness of the three worlds. Placing his lotus-like hand on his head, Shiva told the gods, "This is another son of mine." Getting up and bowing to Shiva, Parvati, Vishnu and me, Ganesha stood in front of Narada and other sages and said, "My guilt shall be forgiven. Arrogance is a characteristic of man's nature." We three, Shiva, Vishnu and I, said to the gods simultaneously with pleasure after granting him excellent boons, "O great gods, just as we three are worshipped in all the three worlds, so also we shall be worshipped by all of you. We are offsprings of the primordial nature. He is also the same and hence worthy of worship. He is the remover of all obstacles and the bestower of fruits of all rights. He shall be worshipped first, and we shall be worshipped afterwards. If he is not worshipped, we too are not worshipped. If the other deities are worshipped, when he is not worshipped, the fruit of that right will be lost. There is no doubt in this matter." After saying this, we worshipped him. Shiva worshipped Ganesha with various articles of worship. Vishnu worshipped him afterwards. I, Brahma and Parvati too worshipped him. He was then worshipped by all gods and Ganas with great joy. In order to gratify Parvati, Ganesha was proclaimed by the presiding officer by all, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva and others. Again, with a joyful mind, several boons were granted by Parvati to him, always favorable to all in the world. Shiva said, "O son of Parvati, I am pleased, there is no doubt about it. When I am pleased, the entire universe is pleased. None will be against the same. Since even as a boy you showed great valor, as Parvati's son you will remain brilliant and happy always. Let your name be most auspicious in the matter of quelling obstacles. Be the presiding officer of all my Ganas and worthy of worship now." After saying this, Shiva laid down several modes of worship and granted benedictions instantaneously. The gods, the Ganas, and the celestial damsels sang songs, joyously danced and played on instruments. Another boon was granted to Ganesha by the delighted Shiva of great soul. "O Ganesha, you are born in the first Paraha of the fourth day of the dark half of the Barda month at the auspicious hour of the moonrise. Since your form manifested itself from the good mind of Parvati, your excellent Vrata shall be performed on the Tithi itself or the beginning of that day. It will be very auspicious and conductive to the achievements all siddhis. At the bidding of us both, and the Vrata shall be performed till the fourth day at the end of the year. Let those who yearn for unquelled happiness in the world worship you devoutly in various ways on the fourth day in accordance to the rules. On the fourth day of Lakshmi, in the month of Margasarisa, he shall perform early morning ablution and entrust the Vrata to the Brahmas. He shall perform worship with the Durva grass and observe fast. After Praha has elapsed in the night, the devotee shall take bath and worship. The idol shall be made of metal, coral, white, acar flowers, or clay. It shall be installed and worshipped by the devotee with all purity, with scents of various kinds, divine sandalwood paste and flowers. A handful of Durva grass having 3 knots and without roots shall be used for worship. The shoots should be 101 in number. With 21, the idol shall be worshipped. Ganesha shall be adored with incense, lamps, and different kinds of food offerings. After worshipping you with various articles of worship like betel, etc., and eulogizing you with hymns, the devotee shall worship the crescent moon. Afterwards, he shall feed the Brahmins joyously with sweets with due honor. He himself shall take the sweets and avoid salt. Then the rite shall formally be dismissed. Then we shall remember Ganesha. Thus the Vrata shall be concluded auspiciously. When thus the Vrata is duly completed in a year, the devotee shall perform the rite of formal dismissal of the completion of the Vrata. At my bidding, 12 Brahmas shall be fed. After placing a jar, your image shall be worshipped. After making the 8-petaled locust diagram on the ground in accordance with the Vedic injunctions, a sacrifice shall be performed by the liberal people who have no disinclination to spend money. 2 women and 2 students should be worshipped and fed in front of the idol duly. The devotee shall keep awake at night and perform worship in the morning. After the rites of formal dismissal with the mantra for wherefore and return again shall be performed. The benediction as well as good wishes shall be received from the body. In order to make the vrata complete, handfuls of flowers shall be offered. After prostrations, various routines should be carried out. One who performs vratas like this can secure the desired fruits. O Ganesha, he who performs your worship up to with his ability and faith shall derive the fruits of all desires. The devotee shall worship you, the Lord of Ganas, with vermilion, sandal paste, raw rice, grains, and ketak flowers, as well as with other services. They who devoutly worship you with the acts of service will achieve success. Their obstacles will be quelled. These vratas shall be performed by the people of all castes, particularly by women, as well as kings aiming to begin to be prosperous and flourishing. He will certainly derive whatever he desires, hence you shall always be served by him, whoever he is who desires fruits. Brahma said, when this was mentioned by Shiva to Ganesha, O great soul, O sage, the gods, the sages, and the Ganas, favorite of Shiva, said, so be it, and worship Ganesha according to the prescribed rules. All the Ganas particularly bowed to Ganesha and adored him respectfully with various articles. O great sage, how can I describe even my 4 months the delight of Parvati? The divine drums were sounded, the celestial drums danced, the Gandhava chief sang, flowers were showered upon him. When Ganesha was installed, the whole universe attained peace and normalcy. There was great jubilation, all miseries ended. O Narada, Parvati and Shiva rejoiced in particular. Good and plentiful, auspicious was conducive to happiness everywhere. The gods and the sages who had come there returned at the bidding of Shiva, praising Parvati and Ganesha again and again, eulogizing Shiva and saying, oh, what a battle. When Parvati became free from fury, Shiva and Parvati behaved as before. With a desire for the welfare of the worlds, the great deity, relaxing on his own soul and engaged in the activities of the devotees, conferred different types of happiness. Both Vishnu and I took leave of Shiva, and after paying homage to both Shiva and Parvati, returned to our abodes. O holy sage Narada, after singing the glory of Parvati and Shiva and taking leave of them, you too returned to your abode. Thus requested by you, I have narrated the glorious story of Parvati and Shiva, along with that of Ganesha, with great reverence. Whoever hears this narrative auspiciously with pure mind shall have everything auspicious and be the abode of auspiciousness. The childless will get a son. The indigenous wealth and seeker of a wife will get a wife, and seeker of issues will get children. The sick will regain health. The miserable will have good fortune. The sonless, impoverished, banished wife will reunite with her husband. The sorrowing will be relieved of sorrow undoubtedly. The house that contains this story shall certainly be auspicious. He who listens to this narrative at the time of travel or on holy occasions with a pure mind shall get all desires thanks to the grace of Lord Ganesha. This concludes the English reading. Jai Guruji. Now I'll ask Jyosanti to start the Hindi reading. Jai Guruji.
जय गुरु जी, पावन सेवा बख्शने के लिए बहुत बहुत शुक्राना। इस अध्याय में हम पढ़ेंगे शिवा का अपनी मैल से गणेश को उत्पन्न करके द्वारपाल पद पर नियुक्त करना, गणेश द्वारा शिवजी जी के रोके जाने पर उनका शिवगणों के साथ भयंकर संग्राम, शिवजी जी द्वारा गणेश का शिर छेदन, कुपित हुई शिवा का शक्तियों को उत्पन्न करना और उनके द्वारा प्रलय मचा जाना, देवताओं और ऋषियों का स्वतन द्वारा पार्वती को प्रसन्न करना, उनके द्वारा पुत्र को जलाए जाने की बात कही जाने पर शिवजी जी की आज्ञा अनुसार हाथी का सर लाया जाना और उसे गणेश के धड़ से जोड़कर उन्हें जीवित करना। इस अध्याय का आरंभ। सूत जी कहते हैं, तारकारी कुमार के उत्तम एवं अद्भुत वृतांत को सुनकर नारद जी को बड़ी प्रसन्नता हुई। उन्होंने पुनः प्रेम पूर्वक ब्रह्मा जी से पूछा। नारद जी बोले, देव देव, आप तो शिव संबंधी ज्ञान के अथाह सागर हैं। प्रजानाथ, मैंने स्वामी कार्तिक के सद्वत वृतांत को, जो अमृत से भी उत्तम है, सुन लिया। अब गणेश का उत्तम चरित्र सुनना चाहता हूँ। आप उनका जन्म वृतांत तथा दिव्य चरित्र, जो संपूर्ण मंगलों के लिए भी मंगल स्वरूप है, वर्णन कीजिए। सूत जी कहते हैं, महामुनि, नारद का ऐसा वचन सुनकर ब्रह्मा जी का मन हर्ष से गदगद हो गया। वे शिवजी जी का स्मरण करके बोले। ब्रह्मा जी ने कहा, नारद, पहले जो मैंने विधि पूर्वक गणेश की उत्पत्ति का वर्णन किया था कि उनकी शनि की दृष्टि से के पड़ने से गणेश का मस्तक कट गया था, तब उस पर हाथी का मुख लगा दिया गया था, वह कल्पनांतर की कथा है। अब श्वेत कल्प में घटित हुई गणेश की जन्म कथा का वर्णन करता हूँ, जिसमें कृपालु शंकर जी ने उनका मस्तक काट लिया था। मुने, इस विषय में तुम्हें संदेह नहीं करना चाहिए, क्योंकि भगवान शंभु कल्याणकारी सृष्टिकर्ता और सबके स्वामी हैं। वे ही सगुण और निर्गुण भी हैं। उन्हीं की लीला से सारे विश्व की सृष्टि, रक्षा और विनाश होता है। मुनि श्रेष्ठ, आप प्रस्तुत विषय को आदर पूर्वक श्रवण करो। एक समय पार्वती जी की जया विजया नाम वाली सखियां उनके पास आकर विचार करने लगी। सखी, सभी गण रुद्र ही हैं, रुद्र के ही हैं। नंदी, भृंगी आदि जो हमारे हैं, वे भी शिव के ही आज्ञा पालन में तत्पर रहते हैं। जो असंख्य प्रमथ गण हैं, उन्हें भी हमारा कोई नहीं है। वे सभी शिवाज्ञा प्रायण होकर द्वार पर खड़े रहते हैं। यद्यपि वे सभी हमारे लिए भी हैं, तथापि उनसे हमारा मन नहीं मिलता। अतः पाप रहिते आपको भी हमारे लिए गण की रचना करनी चाहिए। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, मुने, जब सखियों ने पार्वती जी से ऐसा सुंदर वचन कहा, तब उन्होंने उसे हितकारक माना और वैसा करने का विचार भी किया। तदंतर किसी समय जब पार्वती जी स्नान कर रही थी, तब सदाशिव नंदी को डरा धमकाकर घर के भीतर चले आए। शंकर जी को आते देखकर स्नान करती हुई जगजननी पार्वती उठकर खड़ी हो गई। उस समय उनको बहुत लज्जा आई। वे आश्चर्यचकित हो गई। उस अवसर पर उन्होंने सखियों को वचन को हितकारक तथा सुखप्रद माना। उस समय ऐसी घटना घटित होने पर परमाया परमेश्वरी शिव पत्नी पार्वती ने मन में ऐसा विचार किया कि मेरा भी कोई ऐसा सेवक होना चाहिए जो परम शुभ, कार्यश कुशल और मेरी ही आज्ञा में तत्पर रहने वाला हो, उससे तनिक भी विचलित होने वाला ना हो। यो विचार कर कर पार्वती देवी जी ने अपने शरीर की मैल से एक ऐसे चेतन पुरुष का निर्माण किया जो संपूर्ण शुभ लक्षणों से संयुक्त था। उसके सभी अंग सुंदर एवं दोष रहित थे। उसका वह शरीर विशाल, परम शोभायमान और महान बल पराक्रम से संपन्न था। देवी ने उसके अनेक प्रकार के वस्त्र, नाना प्रकार के आभूषण और बहुत सा उत्तम आशीर्वाद देकर कहा, तुम मेरे पुत्र हो, मेरे अपने ही हो। तुम्हारे समान प्यारा मेरा यहाँ कोई दूसरा नहीं है। पार्वती के ऐसा कहने पर वह पुरुष उन्हें नमस्कार करके बोला। गणेश ने कहा, माँ, आज आपको कौन सा कार्य आ पड़ा है? मैं आपकी कथा अनुसार उसे पूर्ण करूंगा। गणेश के यूं पूछने पर पार्वती जी ने अपने पुत्र को उत्तर देते हुए बोली। शिवा ने कहा, तात, तुम मेरे पुत्र हो, मेरे अपने हो, अतः तुम मेरी बात सुनो। आज से तुम मेरे द्वारपाल हो जाओ। सतपुत्र, मेरी आज्ञा के बिना कोई भी हठ पूर्वक मेरे महल के भीतर प्रवेश ना करने पाए, चाहे वह कहीं से भी आए, कोई भी हो। बेटा, यह मैंने तुमसे बिल्कुल सत्य बात कही है। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, मुने, यूं कहकर पार्वती ने गणेश के हाथ में एक सुदृढ़ छड़ी दे दी। उस समय उनके सुंदर रूप को निहार कर पार्वती हर्षमग्न हो गई। उन्होंने परम प्रेम पूर्वक अपने पुत्र का मुख चूमा और कृपा पर वश हो छाती से लगा लिया। फिर दंडधारी गणराज को अपने द्वार पर स्थापित कर दिया। बेटा नारद, तदंतर पार्वती नंदन महावीर गणेश पार्वती की हित कामना से हाथ में छड़ी लेकर गृह द्वार पर पहरा देने लगे। उधर शिवा अपने पुत्र गणेश को अपने दरवाजे पर नियुक्त करके स्वयं सखियों के साथ साथ स्नान करने लगी। मुनि श्रेष्ठ, इसी समय भगवान शिव, जो परम कौतुकी तथा नाना प्रकार की लीलाएं रचने में निपुण हैं, द्वार पर आ पहुंचे। गणेश उन पार्वती पति को पहचानते तो नहीं थे, अतः बोल उठे, देव, माता की आज्ञा के बिना तुम अभी भीतर ना जाओ। माता स्नान करने बैठ गई हैं, तुम कहाँ जाना चाहते हो? इस समय यहाँ से हट जाओ। यूं कहकर गणेश जी उन्हें रोकने के लिए छड़ी हाथ में ले ली। उन्हें ऐसा करते देख शिवजी जी बोले, मूर्ख, तू किसे रोक रहा है? दुर्बुद्धे, क्या तू मुझे नहीं जानता? मैं शिव के अतिरिक्त और कोई नहीं हूँ। मेरे महेश्वर के गण उसे समझाकर हटाने के लिए वहां आए और गणेश से बोले, सुनो, हम मुख्य शिवगण ही द्वारपाल हैं और सर्वव्यापी भगवान शंकर की आज्ञा से तुम्हें हटाने के लिए यहाँ आए हैं। तुम्हें भी गण समझकर हम लोग के लिए मारा नहीं गया, अन्यथा तुम कब के मारे गए होते। अब कुशल इसी इसी में है, तुम स्वतः ही दूर हट जाओ, क्यों व्यर्थ अपनी मृत्यु बुला रहे हो। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, मुने, यों कहे जाने पर गिरिजा नंदन गणेश निर्भय ही बने रहे। उन्होंने शिवगणों को फटकारा और दरवाजे को नहीं छोड़ा। तब उन सभी शिवगणों ने शिवजी जी के पास जाकर सारा वृतांत उन्हें सुनाया। मुने, उनसे सब बातें सुनकर संसार के गति स्वरूप अद्भुत लीला विहारी महेश्वर अपने उन गणों को डांट कर कहने लगे। महेश्वर ने कहा है, गणों, यह कौन है जो इतना उछंग होकर शत्रु की भांति बक रहा है। इस नवीन द्वारपाल को दूर भगा दो। तुम लोग नपुंसक की तरह खड़े होकर उसका वृतांत मुझे क्यों सुना रहे हो। विचित्र लीला रचने वाले अपने स्वामी शंकर को यूं कहने पर वे गण पुनः ही वहीं लौट गए। तदंतर गणेश द्वारा पुनः रोके जाने पर शिवजी जी के गणों को आज्ञा दी गई कि तुम पता लगाओ यह कौन है और क्यों ऐसा कर रहा है। गणों ने पता लगाकर बताया कि ये श्री गिरिजा के पुत्र हैं तथा द्वारपाल के रूप में बैठे हैं। तब लीला रूप शंकर ने विचित्र लीला करनी चाहिए तथा अपने गणों का गर्व भी गलित करना चाहा। इसलिए गणों को तथा देवताओं को बुलाकर गणेश जी से भीषण युद्ध करवाया, पर वे कोई भी गणेश जी को पराजित ना कर सके। तब स्वयं शूलपाणी महेश्वर आए, गणेश जी की माता के चरणों का स्मरण किया। तब शक्ति ने उन्हें बल प्रदान कर दिया। सभी देवता शिवजी जी के पक्ष में आ गए। घोर युद्ध हुआ। अनंतो गत्वा स्वयं शूलपाणी महेश्वर ने आकर त्रिशूल से गणेश जी का सिर काट दिया। जब यह समाचार पार्वती जी को मिला तब वे क्रुद्ध हो गई और बहुत सी शक्तियों को उत्पन्न करके उन्हें बिना विचारे उन्हें प्रलय करने की आज्ञा दे दी। फिर तो शक्तियों द्वारा प्रलय मच गई। उन शक्तियों का वह जाज्वल्यमान तेज सभी दिशाओं को दग्ध सा किए डालता था। उसे देखकर वे सभी शिवगण भयभीत हो गए और भागकर दूर जा खड़े हुए। मुने, इसी समय तुम दिव्य दर्शन नारद वहां आ पहुंचे। तुम्हारा वहां आने का अभिप्राय देवगणों को सुख पहुंचाना था। तब तुमने मुझ देवताओं सहित शंकर को प्रणाम करके कहा कि इस विषय में सबको मिलकर विचार करना चाहिए। तब वे सभी देवी देवता तुझ महामना के साथ सलाह करने लगे कि इस दुख का गमन कैसे हो सकता है। फिर उन्होंने यही निश्चय किया कि जब तक गिरिजा देवी कृपा नहीं करेंगी तब तक सुख नहीं प्राप्त हो सकेगा। अब इस विषय में और विचार करना व्यर्थ है। ऐसी धारणा करके तुम्हारे सहित सभी देवताओं और ऋषियों को भगवती शिवा के निकट गए और क्रोध की शांति के लिए उन्हें प्रसन्न करने लगे। उन्होंने प्रेम पूर्वक उन्हें प्रसन्न करते हुए कहा, अनेकों स्तोत्रों द्वारा उनकी स्तुति करके बारंबार उनके चरणों में अभिवादन किया। फिर देवगण की आज्ञा से ऋषि बोले। देव ऋषियों ने कहा, जगदम्बे, तुम्हें नमस्कार है। शिव पत्नी, तुम्हें प्रणाम है। चंडिके, तुम्हें हमारा अभिवादन प्राप्त हो। कल्याणी, तुम्हें बारंबार प्रणाम है। अम्बे, तुम्ही आदि शक्ति हो। तुम्ही सदा सारी सृष्टि की निर्माण करती हो, पालिका शक्ति और संहार करने वाली हो। देवेशी, तुम्हारे कोप से सारी त्रिलोकी विकल हो रही है, अतः प्रसन्न हो जाओ और क्रोध को शांत करो। देवी, हम लोग तुम्हारे चरणों में मस्तक झुकाते हैं। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, नारद, यो तुम सभी ऋषियों द्वारा स्तुति किए जाने पर भी परादेवी पार्वती ने उनकी ओर क्रोध भरी दृष्टि से ही देखा, किंतु कुछ कहा नहीं। तब उन ऋषियों ने पुनः उनके चरण कमलों से सिर झुकाया और भक्ति पूर्वक हाथ जोड़कर पार्वती जी से निवेदन किया। ऋषियों ने कहा, देवी, अब संहार होना चाहता है, अतः क्षमा करो, क्षमा करो। अंबिके, तुम्हारे स्वामी शिव भी तो यहीं स्थित हैं, तनिक उनकी ओर दृष्टिपात करो। हम लोग, ये ब्रह्मा विष्णु आदि देवता तथा सारी प्रजा सब तुम्हारे ही हैं और व्याकुल होकर अंजलि बांधे तुम्हारे सामने खड़े हैं। परमेश्वरी, इन सब का अपराध क्षमा करो। शिवे, अब इन्हें शांति प्रदान करो। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, मुने, सभी देव ऋषियों कहकर अत्यंत दीन भाव से व्याकुल हो हाथ जोड़कर चंडिका के सम्मुख खड़े हो गए। उनका ऐसा कथन सुनकर चंडिका प्रसन्न हो गई। उनके हृदय में करुणा का संचार हो आया। तब वे ऋषियों से बोली, देवी जी ने कहा है, ऋषियों, यदि मेरा पुत्र जीवित हो जाए और वह तुम लोगों के मध्य पूजनीय मान लिया जाए तो संहार नहीं होगा। जब तुम लोग उसे सर्वाध्यक्ष का पद प्रदान कर दोगे तभी लोक में शांति हो सकती है। अन्यथा तुम्हें सुख नहीं प्राप्त हो सकता। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, मुने, पार्वती के यूं कहने पर तुम सभी ऋषियों ने उन देवताओं के पास जाकर सारा वृतांत कह सुनाया। इसे सुनकर इंद्र आदि सभी देवताओं के चेहरे पर उदासी छा गई। वे शंकर जी के पास गए और हाथ जोड़कर उनके चरणों में नमस्कार करके सारा समाचार निवेदन कर दिया। देवताओं का कथन सुनकर शिवजी जी ने कहा, ठीक है, जिस प्रकार सारी त्रिलोकी को सुख मिल सके वही करना चाहिए। अतः सब उत्तर दिशा की ओर जाना चाहिए और जो जीव पहले मिले उसका सिर काटकर उस बालक के शरीर पर जोड़ देना चाहिए। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, मुने, तदंतर शिवजी जी का आज्ञा का पालन करने वाले उन देवताओं वह सारा कार्य संपन्न किया। उन्होंने उस शिशु शरीर को धो पोंछकर विधिवत उसकी पूजा की। फिर वे उत्तर दिशा की ओर गए। वहां उन्हें पहल पहल एक दांत वाला एक हाथी मिला। उन्होंने उसका सिर लाकर उस शरीर पर जोड़ दिया। हाथी के उस सिर को संयुक्त कर देने के पश्चात सभी देवताओं ने भगवान शिव आदि को प्रणाम करके कहा कि हम लोगों ने अपना काम पूरा कर दिया। अब जो करना शेष है उसे आप लोग पूर्ण करें। ब्रह्मा जी कहते हैं, तब शिवाज्ञा पालन संबंधिनी देवताओं की बात सुनकर सभी देवों और पार्षदों को महान आनंद हुआ। तत्पश्चात ब्रह्मा विष्णु आदि सभी देवता अपने स्वामी निर्गुण स्वरूप भगवान शंकर को प्रणाम करके बोले, स्वामिन, आप महात्मा के जिस तेज से हम सभी उत्पन्न हुए हैं, आपका वही तेज वेद मंत्र के अभियोग से इस बालक में प्रवेश करे। इस प्रकार सभी देवताओं ने मिलकर वेद मंत्र द्वारा जल को अभिमंत्रित किया। फिर शिव का स्मरण करके उस उत्तम जल को बालक के शरीर पर छिड़क दिया। उस जल का स्पर्श होते ही वह बालक शिवेच्छा से शीघ्र ही चेतना युक्त होकर जीवित हो गया और सोए हुए की तरह उठ बैठा। वह सौभाग्यशाली बालक अत्यंत सुंदर था। उसका मुख हाथी का सा था, शरीर का रंग हरा लाल था, चेहरे पर प्रसन्नता खेल रही थी। उसकी आकृति कमनीय थी और उसकी सुंदर प्रभा फैल रही थी। मुनीश्वर, पार्वती नंदन उस बालक को जीवित देखकर वहां उपस्थित सभी लोग आनंद मग्न हो गए और सारा दुख विलीन हो गया। जब हर्ष विभोर होकर सभी लोगों ने उस बालक को पार्वती जी को दिखाया, अपने पुत्र को जीवित देखकर पार्वती जी परम प्रसन्न हुई। जय गुरु जी। ओम नमः शिवाय। शुभ रात्रि।
अब हम गुरुजी से आज्ञा लेंगे। जय गुरुजी।